Nothing sounds better or feels better than a beautifully struck hybrid or iron shot off the fairway, that lovely compressed sound. But you know what? I have students come and see me time and time again, not being able to do this on a consistent basis. They've heard all the tips. They've tried to get their weight forward. They've tried to get their handle forward. They know they're supposed to strike down on the shot, but none of it seems to be helping them consistently strike shots off the fairway. And one of the major reasons for this is they are corrupting their swing with one simple flaw. In this video, I'm going to share with you what that flaw is because very few people tell you about it. But before I do, look, if you're new to the channel, it's one of your first lessons of mine, please consider subscribing. I release videos just like this one every single week to try and help you improve your game. Plus, you never have to remember a thing. I'll always put a free download or practice guide in the description box below. So if you're regular to my channel, you'll probably realize that, look, to strike anything great off a fairway, we need to make sure that we strike the ball, then the ground. So if we looked at a circle here, we're striking the ball before the club gets to the largest or the lowest point of that circle here. This is the secret to striking. This is ultimately here how you compress this on a regular basis. Now, a lot of my students already know this. But despite understanding that they've got to try and achieve this, they still end up getting this kind of like wristy, flicky strike here, where they're often thinning the ball or catching the ground a little bit behind the golf ball and certainly not hitting it as far as they could. So in this week's video, I'm going to share with you the one thing that seems to be corrupting so many people, so many golfers, and stopping them naturally achieving this strike time and time again. And also what I'll do, just a little bit later on in the video, I'll bring you in on a live lesson of me actually coaching a student on how to create this compression. I thought you'd find it really, really useful. So let's start with just step number one. So the first thing is this, we're clearly gonna need to have a great setup. So we start with setup first, just to make sure we've got a good setup. Setup with irons and hybrids, you want to roughly have the ball position about a club width inside your lead heel here. We want the handle position just inside lead thigh here, and then look, you're pretty much ready to go. If you look at this position here, my shoulders look fairly level. They're certainly not down here. These are all kind of checkpoints that are going to help you get compression. But once you've done that, how do you make sure that that happens on a regular basis? Well, you need to avoid this. I coach golfers of all different ages and sizes, and most players do not have the flexibility to make a complete backswing. They just don't. So you'll see when even some of the top players, they're only swinging to about here, some of them, right? But what they're doing to complete their backswing is often ruining any chance you've got of making a solid strike. This is what's happening. They get to the top here, and as they get to the top, they start to feel some resistance. And without realizing, they complete their swing by cupping this kind of lead wrist here. And that cupping is basically an opening of the face. And it's just easy to complete that way. Look at this. Back, I can't complete. I'd have to really rotate. So what I'm going to do, look, easy. And they're simply cupping the wrist. What that is this. Look at this. If I put the club down here now and I bend my wrist or cup it like this, what's that done to the club face? It's got it pointing way to the right. So if you swung now from here and you brought that club back into impact, you're going to hit shots way over to the right-hand side. And golfers don't. What they do is subconsciously, they realize this. So now what they do, look, is they try to kind of square that club face at impact by doing this. Now what have they got? Well, you're back into the flick, look. You're into this flicky motion. So you're trying to create compression, but look, if you've got a cupped wrist and you try to create compression and get that handle ahead of the golf club here, where's the face? It's going to be right every single time. So the first thing we've got to do is make sure that you know exactly how to complete that backswing so that wrist is in a great spot at the top. Your wrist basically means your club face is ready to go so you can turn beautifully back onto that golf ball. Now, if you're anything like my students, people go, well, I can't see up there. How do I know if it's in the right place? So what I often do is look, I've actually got my old, just like, you can grab a credit card. Take your credit card, open your glove, just simply slot it just inside the glove here like this, and close the glove off, okay? Now, if you look at this here, look, as I set up to the club here, there's a little kind of, just a little pressure on this here. You can feel, because there's a little bit of a hinge to start the swing here, right? Now, the problem is, what most people are doing, look, is they're bending and they're kind of cupping this wrist. Well, when I do that, I can immediately feel the pressure of that card pushing into my wrist. This is the feedback. So when you're swinging back here, look, as I swing back here, that's pressure. I can feel it digging in. There we go, it's not there anymore. Digging in, there. So now I know my face is ready to go. Look at this, I can complete my swing like this, but now I can't. Now I gave this to a student of mine, Casper Lee, and he went just from this one exercise here, basically working on the top of the backswing here. He went from slicing his iron shots to hitting beautifully straight shots. I didn't change anything about his golf swing. I didn't ask him to get forward. He knew all of that, but he wasn't able to do it simply because he's in the wrong place at the top of the swing. In fact, if you actually look at the motion here, you'll see how open the club face is here. And as a byproduct, from here, look, you can see when the club face is open, he comes straight across the line here, comes in steep, and then creates this slice. As soon as that club is much more here, and that card isn't digging in almost there, as soon as he's got here, he doesn't need to do this anymore. He doesn't need to try and close the face, as we've just seen. It's already there. He can beautifully come down on the circle, resting assured, feeling secure that that club face will arrive square at that golf ball each and every single time. Just like a very, very quick fix to get compression. Now, I don't recommend you actually hitting golf shots necessarily with the card in, unless you're doing some small shots. And one of the reasons for that is as you swing through, you're actually going to create a bit more capping on the way through as you finish your swing. I don't want you to be snapping your credit cards, but it's just a case of what you get yourself, make some swings, feel the motion where you need to be, great, take it out, and then once you've done it once or twice, you've got that kind of motion, you can then go ahead and strike your shots. So if you're wanting to strike your irons and your hybrids, for that matter, more consistently, these are the two things I always start with all of my students. A great setup, and make sure that they're managing that club face all the way to the top of the swing. Because if it's like this, you've got absolutely no chance of consistently bringing it back to impact, okay? Now, once those two things in play, if you're still not striking it very, very good, then what I then do is move to step number 3, which is ultimately helping you feel what a great strike is supposed to feel like. And rather than me demonstrate how you can generate this feel at impact, let me bring you in now on a live lesson with Leah. Leah had a great setup, he had a great position at the top, but he was still creating this kind of flicky motion through the impact area. I needed him to learn what it's supposed to feel like to create this compression. Now in the video, you'll see me using a device. This device is called Hack Motion. In fact, these guys who own the company, have been trying to get hold of me for like a year or two, and I've kind of pushed them back. So much so that they flew over from Latvia to show me this device. Now, like all these things, I get people trying to sell me things over and over again, but I was really, really shocked at how simple this was to use and how much it really helped Leah create great compression. And when I gave Leah a drill, which I'll show you in a second, when he was doing the drill correctly, it would give him a kind of a green image saying, tick, you're doing it correctly. When he did it almost right, it would be amber, and if he did it wrong, it would be red. As Leah was quite a visual learner, an auditory learner, it was brilliant at really helping him to kind of think, okay, yes, I'm doing it right, no, that's wrong, kind of thing. A lot of people ask me those questions, Danny, how do I know if I'm doing it right? The device was kind of giving him that information. So jump into the lesson now with me and see for yourself. I want you to just stick it
down on
in the ground. So you're kind of in a sense, so you're sticking it in like almost what you're going to do. See the leading edge? What we're doing is we're throwing it like there.
Yep.
So you're turning it down. Feel like you're throwing it there, yeah?
Yeah.
And then move that to there. You follow?
Yeah.
So almost like from here, you're going to throw the toe into the ground there behind you.
Yep.
Yeah. And then what we'll do is just as a drill, and then we'll do imagine throwing the toe down at the ball. So it'll probably ring out a little bit in a second, but so.
Bit like that?
Yes, see like a difference there. Look. So pause there, but that's it, that is it. So
yeah.
when you do it, don't drive the handle, look at this.
Just turn it into it.
Turn the toe.
No, don't go like that.
No, okay. Turn the toe down. No, kind of. That's it, get the
More
leading edge. Yes, yeah, that's it. Don't
Not
let,
that.
so see this? So look at this, not this.
No.
So here, look, bang, but
yeah.
relax.
Yeah.
Bang.
Yeah, okay.
That way, until you turn it from there, you're turning, boom, you're turning the toe down behind you for a second. That's it. There you go. Okay, right, you can see how, look at this. So now we're getting green. Yeah? So you now generate that feeling, you've got to kind of do the same thing where the ball is. Imagine you throw it down. There we go. And now we got the green. So watch that ball position.
Yeah, so it's more.
And I would do, for Helia, for me, I would do the drill
Yeah.
behind you, just to remind yourself, yeah. That so, and when you do, watch this, when you do it, can you see that was extended?
Okay.
So this is a good example here of why, we could use hack motion here to,
Yeah, because I felt like I might have done that right.
Yeah, you
but
might
I
have, but you haven't, right? So
Yeah.
we've now got immediate feedback on the drill telling you that actually, do you know what you
No.
did? And for me, when you do that, you're swinging too short.
Right, okay.
So it's a bit too jerky.
Yeah, sure.
Swing it a bit longer so you have more momentum to kind of throw that club down the toe behind you. See here, look?
Yeah.
Pause there. So are we taking any divot there?
Tiny, yeah.
Well, there, very little. So look at this. We want to throw the toe into the ground. Why do we want to throw the toe into the ground? What's wrong with this?
Yeah.
This is going into
extending.
that.
Yeah.
So you're trying. So the whole point of me getting you to kind of throw the toe into the ground here like this is so that you naturally learn the sensation of a wrist that's naturally going to be more flexed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now once you've got that feeling of this, where it's almost digging in here, you can then gradually move that sensation
Yeah,
it is,
sure.
yeah, further forward. That's different, yeah. Makes sense. Now we're getting the green. So now the green's telling us that you're doing the drill right.
Yeah.
And off we go. Yeah. So see how high that's gone?
Yeah.
So that's what if you've hit it high, what you've done there, and a lot of people do this when they're trying to keep their handle ahead, it gets offset. So when you're trying to keep your handle ahead, you get too linear. Yeah. And all that does is you're eventually going to throw because you're going to run out of space, right? Yeah. Whereas when you throw it downwards this way, with a toe in, the whole point where we throw it down behind us initially to feel it, get that feeling, and then when you move the ball, you see a different, you're turning on, and then you're going to continue look naturally around. Yeah. You're naturally releasing it as opposed to just, there you go. And every time he does it, we're getting green, yeah?
The perfect way to start.
No.
Because if you're coaching him, like he needs
And
to
look at
follow
that
your
now.
lead, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. And now we're just looking at the numbers.
Can you hear the sound on that now?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
simply
And we're just measuring, comparing it to the range and just measuring. We're
Yes.
not kind of guiding him with the drill.
No.
It's more of a measurement tool for him at this point, just to get good feedback.
Well, what we've done in reality now is we've given him a drill specific to. I mean, look at this now. I mean, look at that now. Can you hear that sound?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. I mean, look at these numbers now.
Contact's great, ball flight was
okay.
great. You could actually benchmark that and use
Look
that
at that.
as your
Yeah,
comp.
that was a good one.
Yeah. So I really hope this video helps to improve the quality of your ball striking off the fairway. That hack motion was pretty cool, wasn't it? I'll put links in the comments below so you can find out more about them. Look, if you want to continue this learning journey and you really keep it ramping up and improving the quality of your ball striking, the next thing you need to learn is low point. How you control low point time and time again. Check this video out for that. I'll put a free download practice guide also in the description box below. But until next week, have a wonderful golfing week.